In Young World, the teenage president says he wants to give young people a voice to tackle the anxiety and dread and stress everyone our age wakes up with every single day. That feeling is not fictional, something maybe we can all share. Soman Chainani is the New York Times best-selling author who has spent the last 3 weeks visiting schools across the country asking students who would want to run for president. He's not asking in a theoretical way. Today we talk about what he found, what he's building, and what any of us can do about this moment we're in. Welcome to People in Common. I'm Jama Adams. This is a podcast where we talk to leaders about connecting their personal stories to what's happening in this moment. What are we supposed to do? How do we translate values into action? How can we be people in common? Soman Chainani.
Thanks for having me.
Welcome. Thanks for making time for us on your last day.
No, this is a nice way to kind of end things before I sink into a vacation.
A puddle.
Yeah, puddle is more accurate.
You've been on a whirlwind book tour. You actually just came from a middle school. Yeah. What happens in those rooms? What did you hear today?
It's a highly choreographed presentation where I take them first to doom. And show them how,
bum, bum, bum.
Yeah, I'm like, your life looks very different than ours did when we were growing up, and that is because there's very little thought to what your future is going to be, and the older political class is trading on that future, and I give them many examples why, and I basically get them to trust me, that like, I am here representing...
I'm on your side.
I'm here representing you as your lawyer against... the establishment that is raiding and robbing your futures. And then once I take them to doom, I'm like, okay, but there is hope. There is something we can do.
There's hope. So
I give them a way out. And the way out is you have the numbers to throw all these corrupt people out of office. And that takes, even from the earliest age, 14, 15, starting to understand your political power, and telling them you don't have to run for something. You don't have to be the kid in the book who ends up being president.
Benton Young, who ends up at 17 years old becoming president of the United States of America.
Exactly, and I'm like, you don't have to be Benton. You don't have to be that kid. You have to vote for Benton, though.
Here's your job. The catch
is,
like,
you have two options. I said, you only have two options. You either run or you vote for the person running. And the person running has to be young. That's my new thing. It's like ideologically, yes, young people have different views, but there is a youth platform that we can all agree on, and I think that should actually be the foundation of what anybody young running does. Is just have this platform. And in the book, it's called the Revolting Youth Party. Yes. And there's 4 elements to the platform.
Revolting Youth, he said, just to make sure you take that in.
And they've got a four-pronged platform to the party.
Yes.
It's sustainable environment so that there's an inhabitable planet.
And there's a lot of smoke and references to, climate degradation and global warming in the book.
So that's number 1. Number 2 is an economic future that's not crushed by debt, right? And job loss and all that stuff. So viable economic future, viable planet. Third is no more kids getting killed in schools. So, gun legislation that actually protects kids.
Yeah.
And the fourth is not surrendering humanity to AI. So whether you are the most extreme right or extreme left, every young person can agree on those 4 things. So that is the platform.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm trying to get kids to believe in.
And so you sound like a politician.
That's so funny. When I did the big New York launch for this book. And I've been talking about fairy tales for the last 13 years. And so we were at this event, and then my best friend, who I've been friends with for 22 years, came up after. She was like, I have a very serious question. And I go, what? She goes, are you running for president?
Yes! What did you say?
I was like, no. She goes, you sound like you're running for president. And I was like, no. I said, but I need someone to run for president who's young.
Are you too old? Let me ask.
I think I'm too gay. I feel like I don't think it would work. I mean, I would love to be president. I think I'd be really good at it. But
tell me why. Yeah.
I think I know how to manage. You know what I mean? That's part of being an author, I think, to some extent, is here's what's funny about being a young adult author. It's very similar to being president because you travel the country.
I love
You go
this.
to every state. I've been to every state in America. I've seen every kind of person, every kind of community. You spent
Who
time.
read your books? Like, they have in common that they read your books, but everything else is...
But you're going to schools, right? So you're going into 300 or 400 people at a time. You're doing essentially rallies, trying to convince people.
That's true. You start them with doom. You end them with hope. You
very
ask them
similar
to participate.
to running for president.
Interesting.
And so I think there's a lot of similar things. It's like you're painting a picture of what you want the world to be, and then the question is, can you like execute this vision? And so, no, I always like. I think when I was young, I dreamed of having a political future, and now I do not. Like, I'm being very like. I think I would be a good
Same.
president.
I can
would
resonate
never.
with this,
I would never run, or be involved in politics at all. But I don't think it's a surprise that like I have now dedicated a significant portion of my life to trying to get young people into
writing this and then okay. And why would you never be involved in politics? Because you spend your life encouraging people to be involved in politics.
I think because I almost can have more impact this way. Because I'm after the numbers game. I'm trying to get young people...
Mass
Yes, I'm trying to get young people to essentially change their behavior and stop thinking of politics as like a hopeless, helpless...
A disgusting thing that... Thank God I don't have to think about that.
Yes, I'm trying to make it like punk.
It's
and
not just
rogue
young people who think that, by the way.
Yeah,
like, it's everybody, and that's the problem.
And I think if, in the same way that, I was thinking about Mamdani, because I used to be his...
Yeah, you were there.
I was not only there, I was kind of his babysitter when I was young, because I worked for his mother.
Wait, what?
Yeah, I was his mother's personal assistant.
Are you Forrest Gump? You're like, okay,
I was
talk to
everywhere.
me.
So I was his mother's personal assistant. I was 24 years old, and he was
right out of college.
13, 12. And so he was around all the time. It was just like, you know, where's Zohran? You know what I remember? He had the most beautiful smile. He wanted to play soccer, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, he still has a beautiful smile.
That's it. The famous smile, the charisma. He had the most intelligent, charismatic, amazing parents. And so it's very little surprise to me that someone like that can galvanize and inspire, but there's a lot of other Zohrans out there who
you're finding them.
Yeah,
you're finding them in
trying.
every audience. You're like, come on, guys, who's running?
And then I tell them, I'm like, look, in a group of 300, maybe one of you is a Zohran. The other 299 better vote for vote for you and support you. So, like, if you run for school board in your town, if you run for town council, whatever, all of you better be there helping that person. So basically, I'm trying to propaganda my way to, you know. And it's so funny because I always get like negative things from adults being like, oh, this is how Mao built his army in communist China. This is how Hitler used the youth. And I'm like, okay, we can do that. We can talk about how young people are, you know, bad and should not be motivated to participate in politics, or we can acknowledge that the reason we're so afraid of them participating in politics is because they would win.
Power, exactly.
And they would win.
Why are people so focused on us not voting? Because we must be pretty powerful if everyone's spending their money and freaking out about this.
100%. So I'm all about activating them through fiction. So.
Yes, and so you personally can have a much bigger impact in the numbers game by writing, which in the book is so interesting and cool. And
it's crazy. I mean, I think one of the things I needed to do...
It's kind of crazy. It's like so bright.
It's bright. It's different. It's just like
it's graphic
sort of
novel.
Primal scream. I think...
Primal scream.
I think I wanted to write something that, like, any kid could pick up and just be like, okay, what is this? And then just get like pulled into. So, you know, it's funny, like some adults read
irresistible.
It.
You are the person who can make this somewhat boring content irresistible.
That's the thing. It's like politics, to try to explain politics to kids is boring and they don't care. Yeah. So the question was, like, I had a teacher, a government teacher, be like, I have tried to teach the electoral map to my kids for 35 years. And he goes, and I've never been able to do it.
Because the Electoral College is Can we say it's stupid?
It's stupid. Doesn't work. It's so boring.
We
and it's
all
so
hate
abstract
it.
and arcane. And he's like, I've never been able to do it. And then he goes, and then showed
that
them
chart.
the chart in your book.
Yes,
and
page
goes,
like 75.
And he goes, and for the first time in 2 seconds they understood it. And he goes, I don't understand why. I said, I'll tell you why. Because when you show the electoral map, even I just tune out. I'm like, oh, what? How many votes does this state have? But in the map in the book, where Benton is winning states, the Revolting Youth Party is winning states, kids are now like, oh, I won that state. I won Nevada. I won
so
Texas.
Concrete.
So it's like, that state's mine. So how many votes is it? Okay, so Nevada is 9 votes. Okay, so then how did do I have enough to get? All of a sudden they're like,
yes,
well,
it's a game.
Yeah, it's a game. It's
and
a game.
It's a numbers
and
game.
they pick it up in 2 seconds. So once you actually give them power to participate in that process. So I thought that was crucial. So like every graphic, everything is from the lens of where they're thinking, what is my power in this particular element? Where anything in politics, they're just so far removed, they don't care.
It seems like other people, and it's all swampy and blah.
Yeah,
but
totally.
this is, you are, at what point, you're movement building. You're community organizing, right?
Yes, but it's not so explicit in the sense of I'm going to be there getting them off the page to do something. My job is to inspire
Open
them. Open the book. All I need them to do is read it. I think if enough kids read it, rest happens on its own. Because it's happened in other countries where the youth have started revolting against the government and it's all happening at the same time and everything like that. You look at India, you look at Nepal, you look at Kenya, Morocco, Peru. Like, it's going to happen here also. But they need the young people need to get on the same page. So literally, I felt like if I put it on the page, maybe they could get on the same page. Yeah. So that's, I think, the goal.
Right, because you talk about it, it's somewhat of a handbook. I think that's a great quote. The book I've written doesn't appear to be a novel anymore. It seems to be a living handbook to an unfolding revolution on the verge of going mainstream.
Yeah, I think that's right. I think it's this idea of like when I wrote it, I thought of it almost as like dystopian satire or utopian satire, and then over the last 2 years,
those are so close, actually.
And then over the last 2 years, everything's changed. So I feel like
that's
so many
where you
things.
Started.
Yeah, I finished the book before Trump ever took office. So so that the parallels in the book of what's happened since are so eerie and crazy. But it's not because I designed it. It just is what happened.
What's the craziest one?
Oh my God, there's so many. One is like the Arctic and Greenland, and a war over Greenland is like the main.
It's the main
thrust of the
plot
book.
device of the.
And
entire,
so when he started being like, "I'm taking Greenland, I'm taking all the oil and everything," I was just like,
"Did you read Young World?" Like,
I was secretly like, if you go to war with Greenland, you're going to ruin my book. Like, no one's going to want to read my book if, like, we are in a war with Greenland. So, like, I need you to stop. My friends are like, don't be selfish. Like, this is not about your creative career and artistic career. Like the world events are happening. And I'm like, and then he kidnapped Maduro, and we have kidnapping of world leaders in there. And then all the other Gen Z revolts were happening, like in Nepal and Kenya, where they're flying that one-piece flag as a protest thing. And then we have the flag. And so, like, one of my friends was like, I just have to ask you a question. I was like, what? He goes, there could be a non-zero chance that someone in the administration got an early copy of this book because they keep doing, like, I'm like, how non-zero? He's like 0.00001%. I'm like, but that, yeah, I was like, I agree with you. There's just like too many things that are happening. Yeah, there's too many things happening. You know.
Well, but that's kind of the point is like that you are a fiction writer. You are a fantasy writer. Yeah. But life imitates art, imitates life. Where do you go from there?
I mean, I think you feel it, right? I just felt an undercurrent of something that there was this young people at some, like, I felt like we've just had so many 100-year-old, like, decrepit politicians. Like, you look at the median age
almost
of the House
literally.
is like almost 60. Yeah, the median age of the Senate is like almost 65. It's like
median, which just for the record means that there's a lot, half actually, who are older than that. Yeah, yeah.
So crazy. So you just are like, what are we doing? Like, what? Like, the country belongs to young people. So where are they? What are they doing? So I also think young people can't advocate for themselves because no one takes them seriously.
Interesting.
So I think
it's easy to dismiss because if you're young and saying this, it's this self-interested piece is so, like the small selfish thing, I think you called it. Like in the book, the 17-year-old boy is in love with a girl, and she's like, "You gotta care about something." He's like, "Watch me." Okay, so that was his first step. I want to make a bunch of parallels, but like talk about, and even just in a meta sense, what you just said, I can't take the Trump administration's action as my selfish. Like, please don't invade Greenland because it will ruin my book. Yeah. Like, talk about the small selfish acts, and what's the lesson for the rest of us on that?
I mean, I think that's the thing, is politicians at the end of the day, there is a desire for power and self-interest. No one goes into politics for completely, like, altruistic reasons.
Well, why would you? Because you're literally being attacked all the time. Like,
everything about it. So, like, for instance, I think I'd be a great, president, whatever, or mayor, or governor, or whatever. I would never put myself in that position because I don't want to deal with all the nonsense, right? So the people who
are up for dealing with the nonsense are maybe the folks who
there's a certain ego power element that overrides that, And I think in other countries there's just less in the way of getting the right people in power, but I think every country still has this element with politics being the land of the selfish.
And at the same time, you want to reward the small selfish acts. Like, in this book celebrates the fact that this is, he didn't do this because he was like, I'm saving democracy. He did this because he wanted to impress a girl. And so talk about that tension. Yeah. Like, that's both the savior and the
I think
downfall.
It's in his case, right? He wants to impress a girl, but he never thinks any of this is going to happen. So when he's put in the White House, you have somebody who never really intended to be there. So, and I think that's what allows for a more kind of innocent view on politics. Like, it's from you're looking at the government from a teenager's fresh eyes, and so you're seeing everything innocently. And I think it's why you're able to root for him, because he's actually looking at the government from a very clean point of view, versus us where, everything's so polarized and messed up and everything that we can't be objective about anything. And he's quite objective about what he's seeing.
And what's the parallel for somebody who right now is listening to this and is like, oh, like, who reads the book or is listening to this or anything that you've done recently and is like, that's cool, I want to be part of something. What's their small selfish act?
I mean, I think it's as simple as looking for an opportunity to either run for something, right? Like, there's so many things in town that are like unopposed or like owned by a corrupt interest.
Be on a commission or like be on your library board or
I tell kids all the time, I'm like, there's probably like 5 corrupt, like 80-year-olds on your school board who are banning books and making everyone crazy and just are like interfering in your school. Like, why are they on the school board?
Where are they the ones deciding?
They're the selfish ones, right? Like, why are they on the school board? They have a selfish impulse to be on that board for a school that they went to 500 years ago, that they have they should have no say over whatsoever, because they don't know anything about kids and they don't know anything about the modern world. So why are they on the school board? So I find it like nauseating. So I'm trying to get these kids to kick them out.
Wow.
And I'm like, any of you could get rid of them because you have more friends. So you know more people. So just run and get them out.
Build the movement.
Yeah, exactly. So that's how I kind of frame it to the kids, which is like, it's one thing if you look at your school board and it's like, people who've been on it for a long time and are supporting you and are making your education better. And that's where you just can do your research, look at your record. But if there's been someone there who's a nuisance and
there's always one.
There's always one. Actively making their life work. Get them out.
Why? Yeah, we can do that. We can do
any second. Yeah.
Have you had kids take you up on this yet?
I know a lot of them have signed up. So we partner with an organization called Run for Something.
Woo! Which, yes, we're going to put all those links.
Yeah. Yes. Run for Something, run by Amanda Littman, who's
we love her.
Amazing.
Yes.
She's fantastic.
Yes.
And so
inspired lots of people. I mean, she hasn't had a youth focus always, but it's run for something.
Yeah, and so I met her early on, and I'm like, listen, I gave her an early copy of the book. I'm like, we should partner because I'm going to be sending a lot of kids your way. And so every time I go to a school, I show them that website. And because we have an embed on our form, so on our Revolting Youth website, which is the official website for the book. So at revoltingyouth.org, you can see all the amazing things teenagers are doing around the world, and then kids
that is
can
cool.
go. Yeah,
it's so inspiring because you look at it and you're like, wait, is this fictional? Like from the books, and then you're like, oh my god, no, this is like kids are really doing.
Kids are really
stuff.
doing it, and we have
worldwide.
we have a few Easter eggs from the book, but otherwise it's all real. And kids can go in there and they can sign up on Run for Something's website to actually find a position in their town to run for.
Oh my gosh! And at the same time, so one of the things, as things become hopefully in an ideal world more accessible, right? AI can be a tool. Here in this town, we have a civic. Somebody took it upon themselves to make city budgets and meetings and notes and all of this stuff more accessible.
Yeah.
Like, do you think that how much of that is an unlock? Like, what were the barriers? What were the bottlenecks?
I just think that young people trusted things
That we had their back.
I don't even know if it's had their back, but that there were tracks, which is like, okay, I go to high school, I graduate, I go to college, I get a job.
If I do the things, then I can have a nice life.
Try to explain to them is like, the tracks are gone.
It's broken.
The tracks are gone, like, so no one's looking out for you, unfortunately. And so no one's coming to help because all the people in power are controlled by a billionaire class that will keep accruing power, and young people are not on their mind. So, unfortunately, you have to throw them out. You know, like this is the only option. So, I've just been very kind of clear about, like, you are on an island.
Give it to you straight.
Yeah.
It's just you. There's no way.
You.
I think that is so much about the people in common ethos, which is there isn't some great man coming to save us. We are here to save us. We have to be the change that we wish to see in the world.
100%.
And it doesn't have to your point, it doesn't have to be running for president. You don't have to do the thing for all time, right? I think, how have you seen that play out with kids? Are they feeling the pressure to be, like when you ask, because how does it play out when you ask them, do you want to be president?
Well, I don't necessarily do that. What I do is I'll go in there, and then after I do the sort of presentation, we play a game where I give them very difficult political situations. And I'm like, you are now the leader of your country. Here's a multiple choice exam, how you handle this. And then I call kids up. And it's very obvious that there's
tabletop exercise.
Yeah, there's one kid in the 300 who, because the first thing I ask is, who's our Secretary of State? And no one knows. One kid knows.
I heard just in this last one today, somebody.
One kid knows. And there's always a kid who's like, Marco Rubio. I'm like, all right, come up here. How do you know it's Marco Rubio? And they'll be like, I read a lot about politics. And I'm like, okay, I'd vote for you. You're our president.
You've already proven to me that you're.
I was like, okay, here's your candidate. All of you are supporting them. And you can tell, like, some people are like, I don't know.
Because are they the nerd?
Yeah, like, I'm not even friends with this kid. I'm like, it doesn't matter. Like, it doesn't
Interesting.
matter. Like, I am completely uninterested in whether you like this kid or not.
Transcend cliques and...
I tell them I am uninterested in whether you like the kid. I don't care if you fought with him. I don't care if you've never voted, or if you have no interest in politics. You are now his supporter and voter. Like, I literally am brainwashing them.
You are kind of, which I get why people are like, okay, Chairman Mao, what is happening right now?
But I'm like, this is it. Like, you need to support your fellow youth, you know? And ultimately...
at all costs. Like, it's like this is a project that we have to do together.
As long as
pick somebody and go.
Subscribing to the Revolting Youth platform. Like, as long as he's on board with being a young leader that prioritizes youth.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what the book's about also, because the book is about a teenage president who leads a global youth movement. 8 other leaders join him around the world in this movement. And so
get elected alongside, right?
And you realize that the issue is some of these leaders are not on the agenda. So we've got some leaders operating as if they're old corrupt leaders. And
the same playbook. They're following this is the new playbook, but they are following the old playbook.
And so the moral of the story is, you know, just because you're young doesn't mean You can trust them. And so, like, that contradicts what I'm saying, which is, like, they all have to support the young people. But my argument is, like, you need to have the same plan. You know, you have to all subscribe to the same principles.
Right. And where did these principles come from? Did you put them out for people's feedback, or did the kids tell you what they wanted?
I think in the course of writing the book, I tried to refine what are the things all young kids could agree on.
Oh, interesting. These 4 things are like...
Yeah, they want a planet. They want...
a roof over their head.
A roof over their heads. They don't want to be shot at, and they would prefer to stay human.
I'm in.
Yeah,
you had me at hello.
Yeah, 100%.
Okay, let's go back to, because there's a tension in what you're saying. Okay, by the same argument, by the transitive property, not all old people are against you or against this agenda.
Yeah.
But I'm hearing pretty strongly, throw the bastards out. Like,
well, here's my argument. My argument is, if young people form a big enough coalition,
there's more of you.
There's more of you, and then you can look at an old politician running.
Okay.
Let's say an old person's running for Democrat, right? The Democrat now has to partner with the Revolting Youth Party in order to get elected. So it's not a matter of the old person saying, no, I really am on board with you guys. They literally now have to make that deal. So, like, to me, it's about...
Because the numbers.
Yeah, like,
if young people turn out, if to vote, then there's, like, basically just the numbers game. You're like, read this is the playbook, turn out, and then you will control the agenda.
That's it. It's about controlling the agenda, because it's not enough to have a Republican or Democrat be like, no, we hear you, we agree with these 4 things, and then they get in office and nothing ever happens. I mean, like, everyone said they agree with those 4 things, but nothing's happened. And so you need a third party that actually goes in there with those 4 things and forces the issue, right? Let's say you have a Revolting Youth Party that can't actually get to power, but they can control which power wins. Now, both parties have to curry favor with this group, and God forbid they don't get those things done, they'll be thrown out.
Right.
You know?
As you well know, though, that works a lot better in a parliamentary system where there's...
But I think that's what we're creating, kind of.
Yeah.
Because even though it doesn't work with our particular political system, you can still create that parliamentary system in the way...
By forcing your interesting. Okay. And...
Because you can imagine a future where the head of Revolting Youth endorses one party over the other, and youth all just, you know, it's kind of what happens anyway. Like, young people didn't like Trump in 2020, so they voted for Biden, and then they didn't know what they were doing and got all like rabble-roused and then voted for Trump. So, like, they ping pong anyway. So why not just formalize that? That's my argument. I think part of why I wanted to write the book is I just was also frustrated that young people just ping pong. And there's no, like, leverage.
There's no lasting power, right? Like, 2022 was the biggest spike of youth voting of all time, right? Of recorded history. And then, but not in 2024.
Yeah, because they get disaffected so easily because no one's doing anything. And
you're like, I agree, you should be disaffected.
Yes, of course you should be disaffected, but you have to then exercise your power in a way that lets you use it. Right now, they're just kind of like, you know, flinging mud at the wall whenever they get mad, and it's not gonna work.
And again, young people are not the only ones doing that.
No,
right? I think most adults are just like, screw the whole thing. Like, I don't want this. And again, understandable reaction to the world as it is right now.
But it's a misunderstanding of our system, which is
what democracy means, which is just how we work together on stuff. Do you like roads? Do you like firefighters? Like, we don't have the luxury of being like, whatever, somebody else should do that.
100%. And young people, I think, in power, like, everyone's like, oh, they're naive, they're stupid, they're idealistic, they'll never make it work. I disagree. I mean, you look at Mamdani, like, yes, he ran as the most idealistic candidate in the history of the world, but he's quite practical.
Yeah,
He's constantly kind of shape-shifting to make his plans work. And I think
you saw from a very early age.
Yes, I think it's exactly right. And a smart teenager will get it. You know, they're not so ideologically pure that way. And they'll make things happen. Yeah.
One of my favorite parts in the book is when Benton Young goes from this is basically like there's no, he's like, haha, this will never happen. Oh God, I've become president, right? And the best part in my mind was at the rally, everybody splatter in the bright orange paint, and that's the moment when he realizes, oh, this paint, like, we're united on something. I am big. This is bigger than me, and I'm gonna actually care and try and do that. That's like, I mean, you were.
100%. I wanted a character who was not your Model UN, AP government, brilliant.
Who didn't start wanting to run for president
No,
and do
exactly. Like,
not pointing any fingers, but both of us.
At 17, like if you had been like your president, I'd be like, I'll be just fine.
That's right.
It's also why I didn't make a girl. Like everyone's like, why couldn't it be a girl? I'm like, there'd be no book. She'd wander into the Oval Office, have her complete agenda set out. Everything would be great. It would be super.
She'd be too prepared, is your point?
She'd be fine.
She'd be.
There'd be no drama. Like what?
I can't write a book about that. Girls got their shit together.
I mean, if you just think of like the smartest teen, like I'm thinking of this girl I know, Caroline Starrett, daughter of.
Shout out, Caroline. He's talking to you, girl.
Kelly and Juliet. Like, she would be fantastic.
You're like, I'd vote for her right now.
I mean, I was like, she would be great.
Yeah.
But I can't think of a boy.
But no drama.
No.
But not enough drama for a teen novel.
Boys,
like
teenage boys are different. They're a little more chaotic. They
dysregulated.
They all keep a secret. Every teenage boy has a secret.
Oh.
It's just part of being a teenage boy. It's just you keep secrets.
Okay. Okay.
And so I just feel like there's more to work with.
Yeah.
You know? Girls are just like, they're organized, they're open, like they tell each other all their secrets, and then there's no drama.
Oh.
So I felt like there was more to work with.
Totally. The hidden, keep going with that. Like the hidden secret part of this.
I think it's just when you're a teenage boy, you're figuring yourself out, and there's this feeling of you're not all in it together. You don't quite trust your teenage boy friends. There's a lot of fear of vulnerability, fear of weakness, fear of being yourself. You're just kind of working these things out. Girls understand that they're all in this miserable process of puberty and adolescence.
We
together.
rise and fall together.
You're just working it out together. Like you're telling everybody like all your secrets and things. And so I just think girls as adolescents are they're just more capable of understanding the situation they're in. Like if a girl was made president at 17, she would be like, shit, I'm president. Okay, what are we doing? How are we making this work? How do we organize? Okay, who do I need around me? She'd be asking all the right questions. I think a boy would just be.
It just took him a little longer.
He
gets there.
They will get there. It's the same as like look at growth. Girls always mature faster.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
the boys will get there. It just takes longer and it's more chaotic and it's more nonlinear, which is what makes for a great novel.
A great novel and good inspiration. I think for this moment when all of us, I don't care who you are and where you stand on things, we're all completely overwhelmed, doom scrolling, freaked out. There's no one who's like, everything's great, on the right track, everything's cool. So this is the inspiration we need right now.
Yeah, I think what the book is saying is it makes it very simple. And so that's why when I go into schools and I do the first part of the presentation, I'm like, your phone is spying on you. It's finding your insecurities. It's trying to make you feel ugly, worthless, miserable in order to sell you things.
I love that. That message comes very strongly through.
Yeah,
he says, I don't know when I lost it. I was a kid. Like, this is your point about my youth is being stolen. I was a kid, and then when did that self-loathing, right?
Yeah.
We're on page 41.
Yeah.
Right?
When did the self-loathing start? When did everything fall apart? So I'm trying to tell them, like, your phone is spying on you. It's making you miserable without you realizing it. It's brainwashing you into this cult of the algorithm that you don't even want to be a part of, right? If you actually thought about it. It's sanding all your personalities down into this common sort of algorithmic hive in order to sell you things. Then you have AI, which is trying to prevent you from thinking altogether. Like, you are stuck, right? There is doom waiting for you, like, and so that's the beginning of the presentation. And like, you see,
is everyone crying? Like, are you like?
What's funny is they understand it. None of them
because
are
they're
resisting.
living it.
No one.
This is not surprising to
them.
them.
They have not. I think they are a little shocked to hear an adult articulate it so clearly.
Because no one's actually saying this to them. We're saying this about them. We're maybe talking adult to adult about this. Yeah. But we're not saying it to them.
So then to just be able to be like, here's what's happening. And so they're a little shocked. And then I'm like, but hold on. There is a solution. And it's not the solution you're getting from all the other adults in your life, which is they tell you don't use AI and stop using your phone so much.
Just put your blinders on.
I'm like, that's not going to help because just AI is there. It's a temptation that it's just always there.
Correct. We're not answering the question of like, should we or shouldn't we?
No,
that's been answered.
A phone, it's like a drug. Like it's like telling somebody highly addicted to stop using something. So great. I mean, I'm sure they're sort of staring at you and being like, thanks.
Yeah.
So
abstinence. It works.
Exactly. It's such a silly prescription. So instead, I'm like, if you ran the world, you would have different safeguards on this kind of stuff, and you would interact with it differently, and you would require different things. So you need to be in charge, because the number one generation that's the most fascist about the use of phones for their kids is the new generation. If you ask them whether they'd let their kids use smartphones, all of them say no.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
especially the makers of the technology.
Of course.
Interestingly enough, you're like, that's a sign, maybe.
100%. But every teenager, they're like, when I have kids, I'm not letting them use phones.
Wow.
So it's like they know it, and so you just need to put them in power. And I don't know if they're going to ban phones or what, but I just think the world would look different.
Absolutely. And your point is, why are you letting them decide for you?
100%.
Activate. So everyone's looking around saying the system is broken. Your answer is, you don't have to be perfect. You don't have to have all the answers. You can be a 17-year-old boy metaphorically or literally in that sense. Start where you are with what you have in front of you, what you trust yourself.
Yep.
You know, you talked about follow the flow. I love this concept. I heard you talk about this. What is the young people version of follow the flow into this movement?
I think it's a question of thinking about what you want the world to look like. Right?
Yeah.
And don't ask ChatGPT what you want the world to look like, because it does not know, or it will tell you what the old people want the world to look like.
Because it's trained on old people.
Yeah, exactly. So just think about what you want the world to look like, and then how do you make that happen? For me, it was writing fiction, right?
Yeah.
To show the world what I want it to look like. But you might have other ways of getting there. So I think it's important to think about that, because I think before it was like, the question was, what do you want to be in this world? And now I'm trying to get young people to realize that that world is the problem. So
don't fit into this world. Don't just find a
Don't
role
find
with
it.
like fit into.
The world's changing too fast in ways it shouldn't be. So what do you want the world to look like?
Yes.
And then slot into that.
Go do it.
Yeah.
And that's where we will bring it all together, because the activation that we're both trying to do, the people in common version of that is figure out what you can affect. What is it? What is your zone of genius? What is your passion?
Yep.
And do that thing locally. You don't have to be everything to everybody.
Absolutely not.
Start with where you are. And if you're interested in finding those people who want to do it with you, we're exploring this way to try and match people up. Because everything changes. The reason I'm so excited about this being a movement, everything changes when there's somebody next to you who's like, that sounds right. I'd help with that. Like, let's go do it.
Which is exactly how he gets elected president, right? He says something, true, and he's like, if a few people do this, I'm going to get a date with this girl. Unfortunately, his message resonates with 55 million people. So
next thing you know, you might be president.
Exactly.
Watch out.
It's just showing, like, if you tell the truth, a lot of things can happen.
Tell the truth.
Yeah.
And just start.
Yeah.
Just do
start.
a thing.
That's great.
You're the best. This was
so fun.
So fun.
Yeah.
We're putting a cap on this end of the book tour. I'm delighted. Thank you for joining us.
No, thanks again. I love doing this. So yeah.
Awesome. All right, get young, world, y'all.
Thanks for listening to today's episode. If you enjoyed what you heard, please subscribe and leave us a review. It really helps other listeners discover the show. You can find People in Common on all major podcast platforms, and we'd love to hear from you on social media. Until next time, take care.